So you want to learn about animal flow movements and why they are good for you. Well, I'm going to unpack today why we're doing them in phase 4, what the benefits are going to be and what you can expect in the phase 4 at-home workouts. We've had a lot of people request this. It's a lot of fun and it's going to be really, really cool. So stick around. Hey everyone, in case we haven't met, my name's Rad Burmeister. I am the co-founder of Unity Gym and co-creator of the UMS, the Unified Movement System, where we turn driven people into superhumans. And the way we get such astonishing results with our members is that we've created a program that has a balance between strength and flexibility and cardio training. If you want to know more, grab one of the free blueprints, the Flexibility Blueprint, Strength Blueprint, or Nutrition Blueprint. There's a link in the description of this show. And also come and join our private Facebook group, the UMS Movement Mastermind, where we record these podcasts live. Morning, everyone that's on the live show. Great to see so many of you here. Give me a little shout out in the comments so I know who is watching. And today we're talking about the phase 4 at-home workouts. We've had a lot of people asking about this. People requested to do Animal Flow. It was in, I think, week 2 or week 3 of the phase 3 programs that a bunch of people said, what are we doing in phase 4? We should do some Animal Flow. And I know a lot of people in our online tribe want to do that. For me personally, it's a big passion. I love doing animal flow movements. I'm going to talk a little bit about my journey with it and how it all fits into the UMS and why this is the first time you guys will have seen it in the UMS program. So a lot to get through today. And just a quick couple of shout outs. Hey, Sean Thixton and Brock Wild and Blakely. Good to see you guys on here. Blakely, I know that you've been really keen for some animal flow stuff for a while, so I think you're going to really enjoy this. So the first thing that I want to talk about is why are we doing animal flow movements in phase 4? Well, we've done 3 phases now of these at-home workouts. You know, we were all forced into this lockdown 3 months ago now around the world, and so we started supporting everyone with these calisthenics programs that involved no equipment, or at least nothing that anybody doesn't have at home, like a towel to hang through the door. And we've gone through 3 of those phases now, and anybody that's been keeping up with those, you will have gone through an adaptation. Your body will have become stronger. You will have become more adept at body weight training. And, we can start moving into some better stuff. I've had a lot of people talking about how they've gotten more flexible, they've gotten fitter, they're leaner, they're stronger, all these great things. We even had one of our members in our UMS online coaching, Simon Schultz. He's done a little 8-point question here that I'm going to answer tomorrow in the UMS online coaching group. But he said, this one thing he said here, I reviewed the 18-minute stretching routine, which are videos of me doing them from about 2 years ago or so. And he goes, Rad, you've transitioned since those vids, shredded. And I have. I'm a hell of a lot fitter and leaner, and I've built muscle since I did those videos, because that's the goal of my training. It's the goal with the UMS. It is to build strength, build muscle, and get in better shape. So it's great to see that it's working. Hey, Simon, it's definitely working for me. So the first reason as to why we're doing animal flow movements is for progression and periodization, to move to something new. You are limited with what you can do when you're doing these at-home workouts. Like for those of you that have been doing this with us, especially, for example, the vertical push pattern, like the pike push-ups, which are a regression from a handstand push-up. There's very little that you can do without any equipment that replicates a vertical push besides pike push-ups. It's definitely the gold standard for a vertical push pattern. So people will do just progressions of the pike push-ups for months and years, and just phase after phase after phase. But for the majority of people, they need a little bit of variety, and so that's one of the first reasons why we're doing this, is to just give you guys some variety, to bring something new in that you haven't done before, to reignite that enthusiasm, that you probably had the first time you were doing some of these programs. Hey, William, hello from Maroubra. Hey, Mon. So yeah, that's the first thing. It's just to periodize and progress. The second thing The second reason why we're doing this is that animal flow movements are a really good way to consolidate strength and flexibility into something that becomes fun. Like for me, my whole reason for training is I want to be able to learn new movement skills. I'm certainly not training to have a buff body. That's like not my reason. I never said to myself, I want to get in shape and I want to look better, so I'm going to start training. I don't train because I want to be fitter. Like I'm really happy that I am fit, and if I wasn't fit and healthy, then that probably would be a driving factor for me. But because I've been training for so long, I started training martial arts when I was a teenager. So I certainly wasn't thinking to myself, I better get fit or I better get strong. That wasn't the reason why I started. I wanted to learn martial arts. I wanted to learn the skill of Kung Fu was my preferred choice. And that evolved into what I do now. And when I stopped doing Kung Fu, the main reason why I stopped is because I realized that I was never going to really be able to make much money off it for our business, for Unity Gym. I'm working with Yanni and Richard, and we're running a gym, and we're teaching people how to lift weights and how to get in shape, and my passion was Kung Fu. And I just thought, look, this, if I'm going to really go all in and make a good business out of my passion, I need to learn how to steer my passion towards something that's more in alignment with what we do in the gym. And so that's what got me onto calisthenics. And then from calisthenics, I got introduced to a guy named Ido Portal, and I started working with him. I did a couple of his workshops and started following a bunch of his stuff online. And because of my martial arts background, I had done a little bit of capoeira when I was younger. One of my best friends was right into it, and that's a big. That was where Ido's roots were. Ido started with capoeira. So a lot of the stuff he was teaching resonated with me. But I just find that the idea of being able to do animal flow movements and these really fun movements that become quite fun and that are quite impressive to look at, for me that's a much more motivating way to train, to know that I'm working towards being able to do skills than just working towards just being stronger, more flexible and fitter. So that's why within the UMS we have calisthenics, because if anybody ever says, well, why do I just keep doing these shoulder presses and why am I doing all these structural balance tests and then rewriting these programs? My answer can be, when you get strong enough and when your body is ready for it, you can start working on gymnastics rings, handstand push-ups, press to handstands, all these really fun things. And then animal flow goes even a step further with that. So that's the second reason. The third reason why we're doing this is that animal flow is something called, it falls into the category of what we call complex movement patterns. And complex movement patterns are things that require thought and coordination and practice to learn. It's not something that for a lot of people you can just see and be able to do straight away. There's a lot of thinking that goes on about the way that you coordinate the body's movement. And research shows that complex movement patterns train our brains. And our brains are just like muscles. If we don't train them, they start to atrophy. And a lot of the recent research is showing that things like Alzheimer's can actually be prevented through the continual training of our brains. And what happens with most adults is we go through a massive training phase of our brains when we're younger. When we're children and teenagers, we're just learning. We're sponges, and then we get out of school and we often go to university or we start a new career and we're learning. And then we get to a point where we get comfortable with where we're at and we've got a high level of skill, like hopefully in whatever field you're working in, you're competent, you know what you need to do, and we stop learning. And our brains stop developing, and that is disastrous. It has a very bad, a negative effect on our body, on our abilities. And so complex movement is a really positive way to stimulate brain development through these movement patterns. Some people find it really, really frustrating. We used to teach this stuff a lot in Unity Gym, and there were some people that were just completely turned off by it. And it always made me a little bit sad when I saw that. But then there's another part of me that I have to accept that what I want for others is not necessarily what they want for themselves. So for that reason, well, actually, I'll get into that a little bit in a sec. So yeah, the complex movement patterns, you have to embrace that concept of being a beginner, because you do go through a phase of, whoa, this is really out there, and this is totally different to the stuff that I've been doing before, and it really challenges you. It challenges your mind, it challenges your ego, because you have to accept that you're the beginner again. But it's very, very rewarding. What your brain goes through when you go from a phase of trying to do a new movement skill that you cannot do at all, you can't even figure out in your mind how to do it, but you push through that, and then on the other side you can do it. The development that's happened in your brain and in your body is on another level. It's totally different to doing regular gym training. Even any of the stuff that we've been doing, the closest thing to a complex movement pattern that you guys might that you guys will have done with me if you do the UMS training or if you do the at-home workouts is test the water. Test the water is a complex movement pattern. There's a lot going on there. You have to think about it. And for a lot of you, and also the 360 hip mobility. So the 360 hip mobility is another complex movement pattern. The rotations to low bridge, the spine mobility, some of the spine mobility stuff is complex movement patterns. But the stuff that we're going to be doing in these animal flow movements is going to really take it up to that next level. So that's the next thing. The reason as to why we haven't had this in the UMS online coaching before, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, we don't want to confuse people. The whole UMS program itself has proven to be quite overwhelming for a lot of people, and we did not want to add another level of complexity to it. But number two, if you went back about 2 years ago, my probably 60 to 70% of my training was around animal flow movements. I was obsessed with it. I really want to learn it. And I came a long way. I did learn a lot because I'd never done it before. I'd done martial arts before, but I'd never done these animal flow movements. And I learned a lot of the basics, and I got to a basic level with it. Enough of a level that anybody that hasn't done it would have looked at me and thought I was an expert, but compared to people that have been doing it for 5 or 10 years, I was at a beginner level. But what I found is that the harder that I pushed to try to get through to the next level with these animal flow movements, excuse me, I feel like I need to sneeze. The more I pushed, the more I realized that the only reason that I couldn't break through to some of the harder progressions of the movements that I was doing was not from a lack of practice. It was from a lack of strength and flexibility, the combination of strength and flexibility, or one or the other. And that's why I went back to focusing on the grassroots of the UMS program, because that's what the UMS program is all about. It's about creating a strong foundation in strength, flexibility, and fitness, going through these 5 pillars of health that we've been speaking about. And I guarantee you that when you start learning complex movement patterns, when you start learning things, eventually you get to a point where you think, wow, I just need to be stronger and more flexible. But as long as you've got at least look, anybody can do it, to be honest. People teach this stuff to absolute beginners, people that have never exercised before. People go to animal flow classes and they start learning with animal flow, and people get really, really good results. So, but that's why it hasn't been included in the program just yet. The next reason as to why we're doing this is that when you learn animal flow, it opens up a whole new world of play for you. The way that I can go to a park on the weekend, and I can just get up on the grass and do a whole bunch of things that no one else around me can do is a very, very fun experience, especially when, like I've got a kid, I've got a 3.5-year-old son. It's so rewarding to be able to play with him and do these things, and the way that I see him get excited when I start flipping around and doing this stuff, it's a lot of fun. And it's a really fun way to play. It's a really enjoyable thing that you can do, wherever you are. Just play around and do a few of these movement patterns to warm your body up, to do something just for 5 or 10 minutes that really gets your body moving, but is also a lot of fun. And then the last reason that I really like complex movement patterns is that and animal flow is that it keeps you interested. it adds something that makes you think, wow, there's this whole another world to movement training that I never even considered before, that I've now been exposed to, that it's exposed weaknesses for me. And hopefully, if you've been listening to the lessons that Yanni and I and Phil teach in these talks, being the beginner and embracing the journey of being the beginner is what the UMS is all about. So I really, really hope that for those of you that are challenged with this stuff, that you don't look at it and think to yourself, oh, this isn't for me. It's challenging. That's where the magic is. The magic is in finding something that challenges you, both mentally and physically, and rising to the challenge. That's when you go through the biggest growth. So those are the 5 main reasons why we're doing this. Now, I've just seen there's a lot of questions here, so I'm just going to answer some of these questions. So Wendy Burles is saying, hello from Scotland, been watching for my 10-year-old gymnast. Awesome. Kumaran, how are you, brother? Kumaran is saying, really looking forward to seeing the phase 4 movement, but it's time to do the school run. We'll watch the rest later. All right, bro. Simon Morgan's joined. Morning, Simon. Excuse me. Brock Wild is saying, in your opinion, can you achieve flexibility goals of pancake or middle splits, for example, by just doing these at-home workouts, or do you need to do more supplemental stretching? I feel like I'm getting more flexible doing the at-home workouts, so that's been great, but just wanted to get your opinion on that. In Canada, I doubt we'll be in a gym with weights for months still. No, you'll need to do definitely more work than just the at-home workouts to get the pancake and middle splits, but that's my personal experience. That's what I've discovered with myself, trying to learn this stuff in my late 30s and early 40s, and what I've seen with our members. Everybody's different. Some people get this stuff quicker than others, but if you're somebody that's never been able to do it, then you'll need to do more than that, and that's what the Mobility Masterclass is for, bro. Blakely Harnage is saying, been waiting on this for a long time. Yeah, you have, dude. Hell yeah. You're going to love it, man. You're going to love this stuff. I see the kind of stuff that you like doing, and even just the fact that you wear 5-finger shoes tells me that you're hungry for the animal flow movements. Brock saying, thanks for the reply. You're welcome. Vinnie Brown is saying, as a 35-year-old practitioner of Taekwondo, it's so much fun to be a beginner again. And man, am I a beginner with this stuff. Yeah, dude. It was a really humbling experience for me, Vinny, when we started creating the UMS program. Hey, Lee, no, Yanni is outside right now working with our electrician. There is so much going on out there. We're laying 9 different, there's so much going on. We're installing security cameras because we're going to be having 24-hour access to the gym. We're doing, we're installing speaker systems. There's a lot of work going on. Vinny, when I started, with this journey of saying, all right, I'm not going to, do martial arts anymore, or at least I'm not going to be training it as my primary way of training, and I started learning calisthenics, it was the biggest ego bash for me. I really thought with my ability in martial arts and what I'd achieved that I'd be able to do calisthenics training quite well. It's all body weight stuff, and man, was I shocked. It just didn't work that way. And I had to go. It took me a while to accept that I was a beginner in this thing that we were creating in the UMS, and I knew a lot about weightlifting and about writing programs and periodization training, not nearly as much as Yanni, but so I applied all of what I knew to the calisthenics that I was learning and to the stuff that I was doing, and Yanni and I worked together, of course, and that was the birth of the UMS. But yeah, the feeling of being the beginner, even when you've been doing things for a long time, is quite amazing. And if you can embrace that, if you can start with something like what we're about to do with Phase 4, you got to think, there's so much stuff to learn, right? If anybody out there is watching this and thinking, I'm not a beginner, I know everything, man, you've lost the battle already. Anything you haven't done before, you're a beginner at. And, all of the UMS stuff that we're doing, unless you've been with us for over a year and been consistently with us for over a year and doing the online coaching and gone through several testing weeks and, written your own programs, then everything that you've done, even if you've done every single session of the at-home workouts, has really just been to prepare you for the intermediate beginner phase, maybe. You know, you're out of preschool and you're into kindergarten now, and that's awesome because now we can push you a little bit further. Now we can give you some new stuff to do. And even if you're not, even if you're somebody that is right at the start of that phase, getting phase 4 is still going to be a great opportunity for you because we'll include the other phases for you so that you you can follow the same progress. So the last thing that I want to talk about before we finish, if anybody's got any more questions, please let me know. I can tell you guys this: the Animal Flow stuff is going to be awesome. It's going to be done a little bit differently. There'll actually only be 3 workouts. So there'll be an upper body workout, a lower body workout, and then the Wednesday straight arm strength workout. And the reason why we're doing that is because this stuff is so new and so different, it's going to be more valuable to you to repeat the exact same movements twice a week, so on Monday and Thursday or on Tuesday and Friday, than it will be to be trying to throw in new stuff every single day of the week. That'll really confuse you. So it's going to be really, really good. And you're going to learn some really cool stuff. It's going to be really different than what you've done before. It's so much fun. I absolutely love this stuff. I love Animal Flow. I love, this really basic sort of acrobatic stuff. And when I say that, I mean nothing where you leave the ground and you do a flip or anything like that. You've always got either your hands or feet on the ground, but you would still call it like, ground acrobatics or something like that. It's heaps of fun, heaps and heaps of fun. And of course, there's going to be progressions for absolute beginners, people that have never done anything like this before, right up to somebody that would be at my level. So, you're going to get a lot out of it, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, the last thing that I want to say is because we're reopening the gym on Monday, we go back to normal gym hours, we will be changing the time of the live stream, and the live stream will be in the afternoon in Sydney time. I don't know exactly when it's going to be, but it's most likely going to be, about 2 or 3 p.m. in the afternoon, because we just can't do it at any other time based on when we're teaching our classes and when we have our meetings and when we do our administrative work and when we do our own training and all that. So it will still happen. And then the other thing is as well, we're only committing 100% to doing the first week for the Phase 4 programs, because we just don't know how busy we're going to be. We don't know what our workload's going to be. We don't know how easy it's going to be for us to do a live streamed workout every day. These shows will still go live every day, these shows here. But in the very least, what we will do is 1 week of live streamed workouts, so that not only will they be available on YouTube, but they'll be uploaded to the course program so that you guys can still follow along every day with a follow along video. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how that week pans out. We'll see how popular Phase 4 is as well. That's a lot of that is going to hinge on how much we support it. If it's not popular, if we don't sell many of them, then we have to reconsider how much effort we're going to put into it. So yeah, guys, look forward to it. Get excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. And remember as well, for those of you that have been supporting us and that understand what we're going through with this coronavirus thing. We haven't said this for ages because we definitely don't want to be a sob story, but we've been reinvesting heavily in the gym and in our business to try to survive this whole situation and to come out the other side stronger than ever. I don't know that a lot of businesses are going to survive this whole thing, and the economic downturn in Australia isn't going to be felt yet because we're still getting stimulus packages. They're tiny, but people are still getting them. But let me assure you that for those of you that are supporting us, we're not out of the woods yet. We've had a lot of people saying, "Oh, great to see that the gym is reopening. I was really happy to support you while the gym was closed, but now that the gym's open, I'm going to stop our membership." And of course, we're not going to ask anybody to support us if you can't turn up to the gym and it's not within your budget. But I want you guys to know that we're definitely not out of the woods yet. We do still really need your support. So anybody that wants to forward these onto their friends and say, "Hey, get this," you're going to get a lot out of it. It's going to mean a lot to us because we really rely on these things with you guys now that we're our gym is only just reopening and we're down to about a third of our members. So thanks everyone for the support so far. There's going to be heaps of fun. I'll be filming these workouts tomorrow because we're doing all this work today, so we don't have any. I don't have access to a clean gym. It'd look pretty rubbish if I filmed them now. There'll be drills and everything going on in the background. And yeah, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Sorry, I've lost my voice here because Yanni and I were screaming at each other through the roof yesterday trying to sort this stuff out with this cabling. So I do apologise for that. But I'll see you all tomorrow for Wednesday's Deload Week workout. Have a great day, everyone.
Health is about performance, not just body image.
You better be willing to accept what you're going to have to do to get there.
We'll start focusing on movement goals, strength goals, flexibility goals.
When you nail that skill, that's there forever.
The body image goal doesn't get you that far.
It's the consistency and frequency that's going to get you there. It's not the intensity.
There's no shortcuts to mastery and movement. Destination doesn't change overnight, but your direction will.
The gym is not the place to beat up the body that you hate. It's the place to build the body that you love.
We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image. We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.